Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I have just a few little items laying here because I'm going to do a quick little tutorial. I don't know how quick it'll be because I like to ramble, so grab a snack or something. That might be a long one. But I posted a video on TikTok a little while ago where I used these glow-in-the-dark Vendeeni flash glitter gel polishes, and I did a cute little marble nail, not marble nail, that's not the word I'm looking for, tie-dye. It was a tie-dye nail. I'll try to pop a picture up on the screen here if I can, if I think about it. If I don't, I apologize, but go follow me on TikTok. It's at linnails_81 over there as well, and on Instagram as well. I'm the same everywhere, so if you found me here, you can find me there. You can find me anywhere. But anyway, so today I'm going to use a couple of these colors. So I have, I'll just show you in the bottle, it'll be quicker. I have number 14, and this is the like pinky red. It's kind of the darkest red. And then I also grabbed out number 11, which is our orange, kind of the darkest orange of the two that are in the collection. And then I also grabbed out number 8, which is the darkest blue of the bunch. So okay, I'm gonna use these three. I probably should have left them open, huh? Let's open them up. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of each one of these, as well as my Madam Glam Perfect White. I'm gonna use some of that as well. And then to start off with, I just put 2 coats of this pink bubble from D&D. I think it's the dupe for Bubble Bath. I don't know, I don't own Bubble Bath, but I saw this and it was like a sheer pink, so I decided to grab it. I just did 2 coats of this to kind of mimic the natural nail, because we wouldn't be putting it on clear, and it'll just show up better on this. So this you would just, like your finished file nail, if you're doing like a Gel X, or if you're doing just a regular like structured manicure or gel polish manicure, this would just be your base coat, but it would be your nail. Okay, that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. Okay, and I'm also going to, I got a couple little wipes here just to wipe off my dotting tool and stuff. And then I have, from Wildflowers, I have their yellow vegan brush. It's just like a little like thin striper brush. And then my favorite, I use this dotting tool for everything. It has the little itty bitty end, if it'll focus, it's got a little itty bitty end that is actually a little bent, but I don't know how that happened, but it is what it is. And then the other side of it is just like your little teeny tiny dot for your dotting tool, and then that one's like the teeny tiniest one. So we're gonna be using just these and these colors. I'm gonna put a little bit on the palette, and we're gonna make a little tie-dye. It's a super simple way to add a fun little detail nail, accent nail, if you will. And I was kind of thinking like kind of a sunset kind of feel for this, so we'll see. So I think I'm gonna do, and I try to lay them out in the order that I want to use them in. It just kind of helps my brain when I'm like trying to decide how I want them to be separated. And then of course we've got our white off to the side there where we don't, we're not like getting in the mess. So it's kind of a crapshoot of how I want the colors to blend into each other. So if you have colors like say the orange and the blue, you don't want to put them right next to each other, because when they blend, if they mix together, if they blend together they're going to create kind of a weird brown color. So we don't want to do that. But so we're just going to kind of follow in the rainbow order. Even if you don't have all of the rainbow colors, you would just kind of follow in that order. And you can always separate it with the white, and that's why I have the white, just to kind of give it a little bit more definition so that it can like not blend all together and look kind of gross. We don't want it to be gross. We want it to be a cool, funky tie-dye. So I'm gonna take, let me see if I can, okay, I'm zoomed in all I can zoom in. I hope this stays in focus, and I hope I stay in frame. because once I start going, you just kind of have to keep going. So I'll try to talk through what I'm doing and try to show you what I'm doing and all of that. But I'm just going to pick whatever color I want to start out with in the middle. And I'm just going to start with the blue. So I'm just going to dot my dotting tool down in there and get like a little drop. And I'm just going to start in the center. You don't have to start in the center of the nail. But if you want your bullseye to be in the center, then you obviously you would. And I did that with the bigger end of the dotting tool, so just to get like a blob on there. And you want it to be a pretty hefty dot because you're going to be pulling from it. So you don't want it, I mean, you don't want a big blob. I mean, you can kind of see how it's sticking up just a tiny bit. So then I'm going to go in next with my white, just because I'm going to go next with my orange. And I'm going to kind of just outline that. I'm just getting just a little bit. I'm just barely touching the nail to deposit that gel onto the nail. And I'm just going to circle that, and then we have it circled. Then I'm going to move into my next color, which is the orange, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm using the smaller end of the dotting tool so that I don't pick up too much product. And I'm just lightly touching and kind of dragging it away, so you're not getting like a big blob. You just kind of want to get like an even amount going around it. Okay, so now we've got our little bullseyes started. We're just going to continue on with the colors, and you can separate any of these that you want with the white if you don't want them to all blend together. Or you can just do the ones that have like a gap, where like normally there'd be, you know, from orange we go yellow, green, blue. So there isn't yellow and green. So you'd want to have a little bit of separation from that. But I think I'm also going to add a little bit of white out here in my next row, just to kind of give it a little bit more definition. And this doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for a perfect circle. We're just looking to get those products on the nail, because the fun part comes up next. And you can do this over the whole entire nail like I did. I mean, this one's bigger, so I don't know if I'm going to go all the way out to the end of the nail, but we'll see. And each time I'm changing colors, I have my little wipe over here, and I'm just wiping off that dotting tool to get the rest of that off of my my dotting tool, so that we're not contaminating the colors with the other color. And you can kind of go as wide or as skinny as you want with these circles. There's really no rules. You can do it however you want. You don't have to do a circle. You can also do like a diagonal line across the nail, or you can do like a squiggle, just as long as you're kind of following along that pattern. So I think what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to go back in with this pink, and I'm going to do another pink. And we're just going to switch it up a little bit. We'll just see what it looks like. Usually when I get to this point, I've covered the nail of the person that I'm doing, so you don't really get more than one go at each color. But since this is a bigger tip, I'm just going to keep going. Just going to keep going and fill in as much as I want. Now, if you are going to leave some of it, you know, open, and you don't want like a scraggly line because you're going to be dragging it, you can clean that up after, before you cure it if you want to, but I mean, you don't have to. You can leave it as funky as you want it to be. So I think I'm going to do one more orange here, and you can see that I'm kind of going off the nail. This is where it gets kind of tricky on a person, because once you're kind of going into that sidewall, you just want to be careful that you're keeping it off the skin as much as possible. But whatever you get on the finger, you would just take and clean up with your cleanup brush and some alcohol before you cure it, and make sure that it's not, you know, getting cured on their skin. So I'm going to go back in here with one more layer of the white, and as you can see, I'm now off the side of the nail, so I'm just making little swoops. Oh, that one got a little big, but that's okay. It's all right. It's fine. And then we'll go back in with our blue, and we're just going to fill in. I'm just going to fill in the rest of the nail. Oops, that was kind of a big blob. I scooped up a big blob, but that's okay. It'll be fine. So we've just got our little bullseye action happening, and I'm just going to take the rest of this pink and I'm just going to kind of fill in the rest of that top with the pink and the bottom with the pink. I kind of got a little bit of that blue in there, but it's okay, it's all good. Okay, so now that we have the whole nail covered, and it's looking kind of funky, this is what we're working with. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little striper brush and we're going to start to pull through to make that tie-dye effect. So I always kind of start, and I'm just going to dip my brush just because I just cleaned it. There's like no gel in it. So I'm just going to dip it into the white and just barely get anything, like it's just, you know, kind of dry brushing in there just to keep those bristles together so it's a nice point. And I'm just going to kind of start wherever you want. You can go straight down, you can go out to the side, you can start wherever you want, just as long as you go all the way around, kind of keeping them evenly spaced, or as much as you can evenly spaced. But I'm just going to start in that blue, and then I'm just going to drag it right through. And then I will just kind of wipe off the brush just a little bit, just so we don't muddy up the colors too much. But so then I've got it pulled out twice down there through the bottom, so you can kind of see we're getting kind of that tie-dye look. Now I'm going to come out to the side, and then we're going to go up, and we'll go up again, and then out to the side. So we've kind of got them evenly spaced there, and we're starting to look like a tie-dye. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite of what we just did in between those. And I'm just going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to start in that pink, and I'm just going to drag it right up into the center. And then I'll wipe off my brush a little bit, and then I'll move on to the next one and drag it right up into the center. And I'm just going to do that all the way around the nail. Now you're going to lose a little bit of the center, but that kind of like lends itself to the design because that's kind of what tie-dye looks like. So I've just worked my way all the way around, and it's looking kind of cool. We got that tie-dye. Now you can do this as many times as you want, just as long as you're kind of keeping that like as evenly spaced as possible. And then we're going to go ahead and cure that. So I'll cure that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have it all cured. And there we have our little bullseye tie-dye. And like I said, you can pull out as many times as you want, you can pull in as many times as you want. The more you do, the less defined it's going to get, and it could get a little, you know, kind of muddy and cloudy. But as long as you've got like your separations of color, you can kind of see how this just kind of blends from blue to pink to orange, and it just kind of is like a little gradient kind of thing. But then we've got our orange to blue is that, like, you know, more of a solid line because we put the white in there. So it keeps that blue and that orange from mixing and making a muddy color. But the pink and the blue, if they blended together a little bit, it's just going to look a little purpley, which is cool. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a top coat on this. And I think this top coat bottle is just about empty. Just want to get a nice big blob of top coat. And I'm just going to float a nice even coat of the Madam Glam No Wipe top coat on this nail. Now you will notice that it will have a little bit of like bumpiness to it, just because, you know, we've put on the little rows of color and not everything is going to be at the same height. So when I put on that top coat, you can still kind of see those wiggly lines. See how my light is kind of getting wiggly there? Just gonna hold it upside down. We all know the trick to hold the nail upside down so that gravity can kind of pull that top coat and kind of make it like, you know, like this, but upside down, if that makes sense. I'm probably not describing that very well, but we're just gonna give it a little bit. Let me get my mess out of the way here. We're just gonna give it a little bit. My little turtle, he came out to do this design with me today. So we're just gonna kind of hang that upside down. The No Wipe top coat is a little bit thicker formula, so I always give it, you know, a little extra to kind of hang upside down. But then you can kind of see how my light reflecting right there is now like straighter. I mean, it's not gonna be super perfect, but I mean, it's doing pretty good. That's pretty good. So that's what I do with my clients. Like if I'm, and a lot of times I double top coat when I do artwork. That way that first top coat can kind of settle into any of those areas. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in and cure it. But that top coat can settle into any of the low areas, and then the second top coat will then kind of even everything out. Alrighty, so here we have it top coated, and you can kind of see that line of my ring light there. You can kind of see that whole ring, and it looks pretty solid all the way across. Not a whole lot of wigglage going on. Now if I were to really like sit and pick it apart, now it might have a little bit of a wiggle in it, but for the most part we've got it pretty flat. And it feels smooth, there's no lumps and bumps, whatever, so I don't think my client would be unhappy with that top coat. But yeah, so that's my little quick tutorial. I'm gonna try to turn off my lights here and see if I can get it to glow. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that, but if I close up all my windows and stuff, it gets pretty dark in here. So I'm gonna do that real quick. I'll put it in here. If not, I'll try to get one with my phone, and we'll see if we can get it. So here we have it glowing. And this is with all my lights, except for the lamp that's still currently going because I just pulled it out. But there we go. There's the glow effect of those polishes. So super cool. Super cool. Super cool. Okay, let me turn light back on. My camera is blinking at me for some reason. Oh, maybe it was blinking because it was dark out. Do cameras do that? I don't know. Alright, let me get all my lights back on here. So there we go. Okay, that was the little glow. I'll see if I can get anything better with my phone, and we'll insert it. I'll insert it if I did. But there we go. That's a quick little tie-dye. Why can't I think of that word? It's a quick tie-dye accent nail with some glow-in-the-dark, sparkly flash glitters. Let me try to bring up my flashlight on my phone. Flashlight. So there's our little bitty flash glitters. You can kind of see them flashing away in there. I apologize for my nails. They are super duper grown out and ain't got time for that. But there we go. So that's all I got for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're going to try this out. Let me know if you have a different way that you do tie-dye. I know there's water marbling where people will do that kind of tie-dye marble effect with regular polish. I have never mastered that because I've never been a normal polish person. I'm not, I'm a gel girl. So I don't use regular polish often unless I'm doing a pedicure, but I've never done water marbling. I assume that it's kind of the same kind of procedure. You just drop it in the water and then pull your little tool through to get that look. But yeah, so let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I do really appreciate everybody that has taken the time out to stop by this little corner of the nail world here on YouTube to watch my videos and to like and share and comment and all the things. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I hope the sun is shining wherever you are, because today it's actually shining here. I'm super happy. I'm about to go out and enjoy some nice weather for once because it's been raining forever. So yeah, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!